Hey everyone, this is Justice for Comics. This is my very first YouTube video, so pardon me if I'm a little slow and maybe don't have things down perfectly. I'm sure I'll get better at this over time. I wanted to highlight three major books I picked up last year. Next Men 21, which is the first appearance of Hellboy. I know there's another book out there that predates this one, but most people consider this to be the first appearance of Hellboy in comic book form. So I picked that up, got a really good price on that last year, and wanted to add that to the collection. Also, a big book I picked up last year was the first appearance of Deadpool in New Mutants '98. I got that graded 9.6, got a decent price on that. Deadpool movies, obviously that's driving this book. Believe it or not, the print run on this was very, very high. I remember for many years this was a book you would see for maybe a couple dollars. Just in the last several years, because of the movie, the price of the book has gone up a lot. Print run's really high on this. That's why this book is not in the thousands range. You can still get it pretty affordable, in my opinion. And then the new Teen Titans, #2, the first appearance of Deathstroke. I think that's a good book to have long-term in a collection. I found this on eBay. It was a great deal, and what I love about this book is it's in really, really good condition. You can see the spine, not anything wrong with the spine at all. The edges are perfect. This is probably a 9.4, 9.6, maybe higher, possibly. So I got a really good deal on that book last year. And Deathstroke's going to be a pretty cool character. There's a little glimpse of him in the Justice League movie. I definitely think he could be a major character in some of the movies that are coming up for DC. So I wanted to highlight those are the big books I picked up last year. Also, I wanted to go over some books that I feel last year were important to get, basically because of the first appearance of a new character and just the importance of that particular book. First one I believe was very critical to get last year was Thanos 13. That is the first appearance of the Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is a big book right now. This book sells right now for $70, $80 on eBay. It's a pretty big book. I think that's a great thing to have to your collection. Hopefully you got it for cover price last year. I think I paid cover price for one of the copies, and the other copy maybe $10 or something. So yeah, it was a good deal. I got 2 copies of Thanos 13. I did not get the Alburquerque variant. I wish I had. That's probably the hottest book really of the variants. It's a 1 for $25 variant. That's consistently selling $300–400 ungraded right now. Graded, it's close to $1,500, $1,200 to $1,500. So really big book. I wasn't able to get it, unfortunately, and it's a little too expensive for me now at that price. Another big book last year is the Totally Awesome Hulk #22. This was a kind of a book right away that was, when I first heard about it, it was already a $40 book. It's a little bit higher than that now, but that's, Weapon H, first appearance of Weapon H. That's a big book. He has his own comic series now, and pretty interesting character. Some people like him, some don't. Some people say it's just another ripoff of the Hulk and adding Wolverine, who knows. So that's a book last year that I think was important to pick up based on the future Marvel characters. Another one that a lot of people missed in the DC universe was Teen Titans #12. This was the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. You can see him right there on the cover. That's the first appearance. There's also a B cover, which goes for about the same price, maybe a tad more. Not as many people picked up the B cover of the same book, and you know, both those books go for pretty good money on eBay now. Long-term collectability, I think, is there for that particular issue. A lot of people did not know about it until it had been out for a while, so including me. It was definitely not a book I was subscribing to normally, so glad I picked that up, and that was a pretty important book to have last year in 2017. And finally, I wanted to highlight probably the biggest book so far of 2018, I think, is going to be Action Comics 1000. And this is the first appearance of a major villain for Superman. This is also the tour variant, Jim Lee tour variant. So supposedly there's only like 2,500 of these in existence. I bought this for around $70 or so on eBay, and about a week after I bought it, all of a sudden the price had shot up. I think it's going for over 200 now. There's a listing on eBay. Someone's asking $1,000 for this now, so it'll be interesting to see if it gets that high. But you know, I think just like Thanos 13 Albuquerque variant last year, I think this is a similar book that can demand some pretty good money. It is right now, if you can find it. I live down here in Florida, and I called around to about 6 or 7 different comic book shops, and nobody had this. In fact, most of them didn't even know of the existence of this book. So that's a pretty good sign of collectability and scarcity. I definitely think it's worth having in your collection. So I kind of wanted to go over what I did last year, some key pickups for me, books that I thought were important last year, and highlighting a book that I feel is pretty important to get for this year if you can find it. I doubt you're going to find it in a comic book shop. Most people are having to hunt for this on eBay now. I even talked to one dealer here in Florida that said that he's got a buddy that knows of a shop in France where they had over a dozen copies of this, and he was actually taking a trip over there to try to pick up some copies. So I thought that was a pretty interesting story. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, there's definitely some action on this Action Comics 1000 tour variant. So that's kind of the format. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do videos possibly every week where I'm going to highlight some comic books in my collection that I think are important to pick up. I might highlight a couple recent books that have come out that are interesting to read. I want to put a shout out to a YouTuber by the name of Jim Comics. I watch his videos every week. He does a great job, especially highlighting the weekly comics that are coming out. I'm not really going to do what he's doing. The format of that, you know, I don't buy a ton of books on a weekly basis. I tend to buy on a monthly subscription basis, so not really good for me to do a weekly video just on what's coming out that week. But I think what I'll do is I'll highlight books that have come out in the last month that I think are worth picking up, that has some collectability to them, maybe some first appearances of a major character, that type of thing. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. So this is my first video, Justice for Comics. Feel free to leave some comments on this video. Let me know what you thought, things that I could do to improve it. Definitely learning as I go. Hopefully the quality of this will get better as time goes on. And I think that's all I had for my first video. Look forward to hearing from the comments of everybody, and look forward to getting to know everybody on this YouTube channel. All right, thanks.